to this short overview for part 1 of the art research project for Art 110. Part 1 is called Choose Your Artwork for the Art Research Project and Write Your Citation and First Annotation. All right, so the goals for this assignment. Carefully choose an artwork from the list on Canvas on which you will focus your art research project. Become more acquainted with your textbook. Learn about the captions, which are either under or next to the illustrations in your textbook, and what important information you can find in the captions. That information will usually list the artist, the date, the media and dimensions, what the artwork is made of and how big it is, and which museum or individual collection owns that artwork. You will also learn about the index in your textbook and what important information you can find there. And you will create a citation for your artwork, which is found in a museum collection, and a citation and annotation for the information in your textbook about your artist and artwork. And we're going to break this down carefully. And then you're going to reflect on the reasons you chose that particular artwork. All right, so the first part, choose your artwork. By spending time to find an artwork that you really like, you will be more interested in the research you find on the artwork and more motivated to complete all of the pieces of this art research project. You will work with this artwork for several assignments, for several weeks, so it's important to select something you like, admire, or find inspirational. Please have your textbook with you and look up several of the artworks listed on Canvas in the index of your book. The index of the book is an alphabetical list of the contents of your book and is usually found in the very last pages of your book. Locate some of the artworks on the list and find the page number of the artwork in the index, and then find the page and look at and read about the artwork. This is a process of research. Read the caption below or beside the artwork in your textbook. The captions in your book give you information about the artwork, like the artist that made it, the date that it was made, the media, so in other words, what it's made of, the dimensions, in other words, how big it is, and which museum owns that artwork. Decide if you find the artwork interesting. If you don't, move on to the next artwork until you find something you really like or are captivated by. Once you find the artwork that you want to focus your art research project on, complete the instructions below. And these are also on the Canvas assignment. All right, so once you have selected your artwork, for the purposes of this demonstration, I have selected the painting by artist Jasper Johns called Three Flags. And you can see a picture scanned from the textbook, which has a picture of the artwork and then the caption next to it. You will select another artwork from the list. In other words, Jasper Johns is not on the list, but I picked this just for the purposes of the demonstration. I found this image in our textbook and I noted which page it's on. So it's on page 422 in the version of the textbook that I have. And I'm going to find the caption, which is below or beside the artwork. And so there you can see it, and I'm going to read it. Jasper Johns, Three Flags, 1958, encaustic on canvas, 2 feet 6 7/8 inches by 3 feet 9 1/2 inch, and the Whitney Museum of American Art. Now, it lists some other stuff. I'm not so concerned about that. I mostly want to know who the artist is, what the artwork is called, the year it was made, what it's made of, encaustic on canvas, and how big it is. The caption gives you information about the artwork and which museum owns it, and the Whitney Museum of American Art owns this piece of art, that's going to be important because later on you're going to have to look up the website for the Whitney Museum of American Art or whichever museum owns the artwork that you select. Use the information in the caption to write the citation for your artwork. All right, what is a citation? A citation is a reference to the source of information used in your research. A citation is like a pointer, which points to the source of information about an artwork or the digital file for the artwork or the museum collection your artwork is found in or various other sources of information about your artwork. So each of those things is going to have its own citation. For example, here is the citation for the entry in our textbook about Jasper Johns, the artist who made the painting Three Flags. And so our textbook was written by Fred Kleiner and Helen Gardner. It's called Gardner's Art Through the Ages, A Concise Western History, 4th edition. It's published by Cengage Learning in 2017. And then I'm adding the Jasper Johns page 422. So the textbook has its own citation, and you don't have to write this citation. You can find it on Canvas and copy and paste it. All right, so to write your first citation, you're going to look at that caption, and you want to follow this format. Artist last name, comma, first name, period, title of the artwork, period, year, period, medium, period, name of the institution or private collection housing the artwork, comma, city where it's located, period, and I'm asking you to add the size, period. So here's my citation based on the caption. All I'm doing is I'm reading that caption from the textbook and I'm copying the information in the right order to make my citation. So it's going to be Johns, comma, Jasper, period, Three Flags, period, 1958, period, encaustic on canvas, period, Whitney Museum of American Art, comma, New York, period, and then the size, 2 feet, 6 7/8 inches times 3 feet, 9.5 inches. So I'm carefully copying. I'm copying from the list and I'm putting in the periods and commas where they're supposed to be. And at the end, I have my citation for my artwork. So everybody's going to have a different citation based on the artwork that you select. All right, next thing we're going to do is write an annotation. What is an annotation? An annotation is a summary of the information you find in a particular source about your artwork. The summary should be written in your own words. In other words, you're not copying what you found in the textbook or the other sources. You're summarizing it in your own words. And for our purposes, the summary is going to focus on the who, what, why, when, where, and how about your artist and artwork. All right, so you're going to write an annotation for the information you found in the textbook on your artist and artwork. So after you find the artwork, you're going to read about it. And an annotation is a summary of the information you find in a particular source. In this case, you're going to summarize the information for your textbook. The only information in this annotation will come directly from your textbook. Don't run and Google or anything like that. You do not use any other information from the web or any other source for the textbook annotation. You're just going to read what they write about in the textbook about your artist and artwork. You're going to summarize it in your own words. And don't forget to cut and paste the citation from the textbook and add your artist or artwork and page number. So again, in my case, it's going to be Kleiner, comma, Fred S., period, comma, and Helen Gardner. Those are the two authors. The book is called Gardner's Art Through the Ages, A Concise Western History, period, 4th edition, comma, Cengage Learning, the publisher, comma, 2017, when it was published. And then I'm going to add that parentheses, Jasper Johns, pages 420 to 422, because those are the pages that they write about Jasper Johns in the textbook. Find the artwork and the artist mentioned in the text and take notes to summarize what's mentioned in the textbook about your artwork and artist. And the summary is going to be the basis for your annotation. So again, focus on the W's in your summary. Who made the artwork and who owns it now? Every major art piece is owned by someone, and it's usually not the original artist who made the artwork. Most likely, a museum or a private collector owns the major piece of works of art that are shown in our textbook. What? What type of object is this? Is it a two-dimensional object like a painting or drawing, or is it three-dimensional like a sculpture or ceramic artwork, or maybe it's a building? What's it made of? How large is it? When was it made? What year? If it's a building, maybe it was built over a number of years, maybe over 100 years if it was a cathedral. Where was the piece originally made back then, whenever it was made, and where is it located now? Why? Why was this piece made? Did a king or a government commission it, pay for it to be made? Or did the artist make it and then sell it to someone? And how was the piece used in the past? All right, and so here is my textbook citation followed by my annotation of the information about Jasper Johns and 3 flags from the textbook. I'm not going to read this, but you can see this on Canvas, or you can pause the video and read. But you can see that at the top, it starts with the citation for the textbook, and then it has my summary of what it says in the book about this painting. All right, and finally, tell me why you chose this artwork. In 50 to 100 words, describe why you selected this particular artwork. Please be specific about whether you like it or admire it, or maybe you find it inspirational, or maybe there's some other reason that you had for selecting it. All right, and so here is an example for you to follow. The first thing I asked, tell me the name of the artwork and the artist. Jasper Johns, 3 flags. What page is it found on in your textbook? For me, page 422. Write your citation for the artwork. And so there it is, Johns Jasper, 3 flags, 1958, encaustic on canvas, Whitney Museum of Art, New York, and then the size. Write an annotation for the information you found in the textbook on your artist or artwork. And don't forget to cut and paste the citation for the textbook. So again, there's the citation for the textbook. The only thing I had to add was a little parentheses that says Jasper Johns, pages 420 to 422. And then again, I'm not going to read this, but this is just my summary. This is my annotation of what it says in the textbook about that artist and that painting. And then tell me why you chose this artwork. And I said I really like the way Jasper Johns creates imitation objects with his paintings. I like to think about how an actual American flag is different from the flags that Johns painted. How does it change the meaning if the flag is made of fabric or if it's made from paint and a canvas? And I really like the texture that the wax mixed with the paint creates. This is what encaustic is. I like to see the brush marks in the paint. I also like the way Johns plays with perspective when he stacks the 3 flags up. And I personally find his paintings very inspirational. So this is what you need. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions to answer to complete this, this assignment on Canvas. All right, see you on Canvas, and you can always let me know if you have any questions.